शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवद्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Let us look at where we are. Okay, here we are. विज्ञानं यज्ञं तनुते कर्माणि तनुतेऽपि च विज्ञानं देवाः सर्वे ब्रह्मज्येष्ठमुपासते विज्ञानं ब्रह्म चेद्वेद तस्माच्चेन्न प्रमाद्यति शरीरे पाप्मनो हित्वा सर्वान् कामान् समश्नुत इति तस्यैष एव शारीरात्मा यः पूर्वस्य तस्माद्वा एतस्माद्विज्ञानमयात् अन्योन्तरात्मानं तेनैष पूर्णः स वा एष पुरुषविद एव तस्य पुरुषविधता अन्वयं पुरुषविदः तस्य प्रियमेव शिरः मोदो दक्षिणः पक्षः प्रमोदोत्तरः पक्षः आत्मा ब्रह्मपुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. This is the Moola Grantha. Moola Grantha means the text of the Upanishad itself. So that is what we are talking about. And then that is the section where we are at. Okay, so the text is chanted there, and then after that we go to the Bhashya, and we have seen what we have seen the Bhashya up till here. Vijnanam yajnam tante, and Vijnanam, just to catch up from yesterday, is not Vijnanam means consciousness. So consciousness yajnam tanute, not possible. Consciousness cannot do yajna and cannot do anything. And what that which doesn't do anything is consciousness. All right. And so we cannot say that consciousness does it. So consciousness one means the one who is endowed with this consciousness, this ahankari, this atma that is identified with the body, mind, sense complex, but actually the truth of whom is consciousness, that one is the doer. So that Adi Shankara points out here. So Vijnanam Yajnam Tanute, he quietly converts it into Vijnanavan hi Yajnam Tanoti. Tanute, tan is Ubhayapadi, So I think it goes both ways. So it is, he converts it into Tarasmai Pada, Yagyam Tanoti. And how Yagyam Tanoti, how does the person do the Yajna? With full fanfare and all the details. How, what are the details? Shraddhadi Purvakam, keeping Shraddha in the forefront. After all, let us not forget the head of the Vijnanamaya is what? What is the head of Vijnanamaya Kosha? Hello.
Shraddha.
Shraddha.
Yes,
Shraddha.
yes. Thank you for showing me some signs of life. Much appreciated. So the head of Vijnanamaya is Shraddha. So without Shraddha, even though one may have the knowledge of how to do something, Shraddha is trust. Either one doesn't have the trust in karma or in oneself or something. That's why even though one may know how to do something, one stops oneself from doing it because there is no trust. So then it is pointed out, what else is Atah? Please mute yourself. Okay, so Atah, now I'll go back here, give me a second. Yeah. Atah Vijnanasya Kartritvam Tanute. Kartritvam Tanute means that the person, quote unquote, becomes or identifies as the Karta. Then Yagyam Tanute Karmani Tanute Picha. Adi Shankara does not give a commentary on this Karmani Tanute Picha. So Karmani Cha Tanute means what? All kinds of non-sacred, meaning secular works. In fact, the word secular is very, very fraught with many difficulties, because especially in India, because in India the only thing that is in Sanatana Dharma, the only thing that is secular is the government. In fact, anything you do is religious in the Hindu Dharma. You are taking a walk, that is itself a form of worship, and you are waking up in the morning, it's a form of worship. You're going to bed at night, that is also a worship. You're recharging the body, it's a worship. You're taking a shower, that's a form of worship. You're eating, drinking, sleeping, whatever you're doing, it's all a form of worship. There is zero secular anything, which is why perhaps Adi Shankara doesn't comment on it. But this, the Upanishad is too kind, very compassionate. And what does she do for us? She helps us to assimilate this understanding, even for the people who may not know why for yajna, and who may not know anything about yajna. Still, this is the Upanishad is very kind. So then, so yajnam tanute. Karmani api tanute. So this Vijnanaman, endowed with Vijnanam, the person keeps on doing things. So, Yasmad Vijnana Kartrikam Sarve Tasmad Uktam Vijnanamaya Atma Brahma iti. Yasmad Vijnana Kartrikam Sarve. So meaning because every action and every sense of not just action but do worship, every action and every notion of do worship. Let me share this document. Maybe that will help to know where we are in the text. But again, this will challenge the people who are not. Who are not seeing the Devanagari very well, but doesn't matter. So here we are. I can highlight this here. So, Yasmad Vijnana Kartrikam Sarve Tasmad Uktam Vijnana Mayaha. So, Vijnana Kartrikam Sarve means what? That everybody does something, and why do they do it? How do they do it? They do it only after knowing what is at stake. Only after knowing they become doers. So that's why it is Vijnanamaya. So this then what else? So Vijnanamaya is there. And then further I have to change something here so that I can see the text. Yeah, there we go. So then विज्ञानमय आत्मा ब्रह्म इति तस्माद् उक्तम् tasmad yuktam. So therefore, not uktam, tasmad yuktam. Therefore, it is appropriate to consider, to say what? Vijnanamayaha atma brahma. So this Vijnanamaya is what? Is this Brahman alone? Because everything is Brahman. How can Vijnanamaya not be Brahman? This is also Brahman, that is also Brahman, Pranamaya is Brahman, Manomaya is Brahman, Annamaya is of course Brahman. So Vijnanamaya is also Brahman. Kincha Vijnanam Brahma. Kincha Vijnanam Brahma means further Vijnanamaya Atma, the Atma that is associated with the notion, with the Vikara of Vijnanam, Vijnanamaya Atma, that is Brahman, no doubt. Kincha Vijnana, why is it Brahman? Because Vijnanam is Brahman. Jnanam is knowledge. Of course, Brahman is all knowledge. Satyam Jnanam, that is already there. So this Vijnanam, this knowledge itself is Brahman. So any vikara of this knowledge, any as though modification of this knowledge, which results in kartrutva buddhi, to worship, etc., etc., all of it is Brahman alone. So we'll just see the meaning and then I'll stop sharing it and then we can talk about this. So then it says, Sarve Devaha. And we saw yesterday this. Devaha means what? Indradayaha. So two senses. One is in the sense of Devatas, celestials. Celestials, Indradayaha, that is the meaning the Adi Shankara takes here, the Bhashya takes that meaning, Indra, etc. So, Sarve Devaha, all the Devas. And then, or we can say the sense organs. Why? Dyotanatmakatvat. Because they light up the sense objects. So they are called Devaha. They are little torch lights which connect the knower with the objects to be known. So Pramata and Prameya are brought together by the various Pramanas. And the Pramanas, the Pratyaksha Pramanani, the Pratyaksha Pramanas here, the five main Pramanas, sense organs, are called therefore Devas because they light up the various objects, they light up the universe totally. And then, but Adi Shankara takes as Indradaya. Indradaya means Indra, etc. Jyeshtham, Jyeshtham Brahma Upasate. Look at the Vakya here. So, where is this? It's further here. Jyeshtham Brahma Upasate. It's already further here, up. So, we need not scroll here. Just take my word for it. Jyeshtham Brahma Upasate, it is said. So, Jyeshtham means the eldest. So I didn't know that Brahman had many clones or siblings. Jyeshtam Brahma, the eldest Brahman. It's like sometimes what happens is that in families there are multiple names, multiple people with the same name. So you have so and so, so and so. Somebody is there. John Smith, just for the to do this. So John Doe, and then John Doe Junior, John Doe the second, John Doe the third. Like this, it goes on and on. They keep recycling the same name because out of some shraddha for the departed person, the person is named after grandfather, and the grandfather was himself named after the father, and that father was named after his grandfather. So there are multiple people with the same name, distinguished by the elder John and the younger John. So is that the case here? So Prathamajam means Jyeshtham, the elder Brahman, and the younger Brahman, Brahman the third. All this is not there. Prathamajam, why? Because when we talk about the Swarupa Lakshana of Brahman, when we talk of Satchidanandam Brahma, which is pure Vijnanam, Chaitanyam, that is incapable of, that is totally incapable of action. It does not do anything. Even if you paid it to do something, it cannot do anything. In fact, you can't pay it because you are it. Okay, and so it won't do anything. So, but then this whole Jagat is there to be accounted for. At least in the beginning, you spend a lot of time accounting for the Jagat because that's where the person is. The person is stuck with many and varied things in the universe. So the person is totally stuck, and so you are spending a lot of time uh, accounting for the various things. How did this Jagat come into being? And then we have to have a story because of Maya Shakti. And then what is this Maya Shakti? Where did she come from? So it was all, it was very interesting because Brahman is neuter, it. And then Maya is she. It plus she gives birth to he. Okay, then that Maya makes Brahman, makes again within quotes, heavy quotes, makes Brahman into Ishvara. So all this is told for Vedanta 101. Okay, this is baby goo goo gaga Vedanta baby talk. All right. This comes right after I am not the body, and I am, the after that Atma, Anatma, Viveka. Then after that comes this. So this is just baby talk. This is important. Even the Upanishad also indulges in baby talk because without Vedanta baby talk, you cannot master Vedanta speak. You cannot master that because every baby goes through baby talk and then only starts grown up talk later on. And so here also it's the exact same thing. And here also it's the same thing. So first you learn baby talk in Vedanta, and then you spend lot of time analyzing why there is Jagat, what makes the Jagat, etc., etc. And yes, there are celestials. Yes, they have lot of punya. Yes, there is punya. Yes, there is papa. Everything it's not negated, it is transcended because all this on one level of operation is true. Which level is that? The level of the empirical reality, all this is true. And when the person comes to Vedanta Shastra, Vedanta knowledge, one is always at the empirical, one is only familiar with the empirical. And if for such a person, then if for such a person you introduce, what is that? You introduce a lot of things. You say, oh, so there is all this is mithya. They don't even know how to spell mithya, and you tell them this is all mithya, mithya, mithya. And in Americanese, in American English, the THY, and maybe even British English, I don't know. Somehow the THY becomes CHY. So mithya is pronounced michya. I don't know how and why. And but that is, so here the person is struggling to pronounce mithya, is struggling to spell mithya, and then you tell them all this is mithya, and don't worry about this is all not real. And then where will the person go? Where will the person go? They will leave their job because it is not real and then move into your house. Take care of me. That's all they will do. And so, na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnaninam karma sanginam. The Bhagavad Gita advises us to be very, very cautious. Na buddhi bhedam janayet means don't cause confusion. Don't cause confusion in the beginning. Slowly, like a baby is led, the Upanishad leads us from the empirical to the absolute. Slowly, slowly. Dhire, dhire, shanaish, shanaihi. Because in the beginning, if you just say, okay, all this, what Jagat? So how should I live? The person is asking, how should I live without hurting myself? How should I have compassion for the universe and for myself? And then you say, what compassion? What Jagat? Where is anybody else? And then you don't need compassion for yourself because all that is there is you. Go home. In fact, there is no home. Go home. And so if that is what you say, then the person will not come back. Will not come back because Vedanta goes over the head like an aircraft. noisy, all right, and you sense something is being said, but what you don't know. So the Upanishad is very highly kind, extremely loving, and takes the person from where the person is, because that's how the teaching has to come. A child who cannot spell calculus, how to spell calculus, the child doesn't know, and then that child is taught calculus, not possible. So here also, so step by step, the Upanishad is leading us. And so Indradaya Prathamajatvat Sarva Pravrittinam Va Tat Purvakatvat Prathamajam Vijnanam Brahma Upasate. So then this is the upasana, and then it is told that this Brahman as Vijnanamaya is adored. Upasate, adored. Adored means what? Worshipped. Adored, worshipped. Worshipped by whom? By the devas themselves. The devas themselves worship, and then suddenly your ears get pricked up. Oh, if the devas worship, I also want to worship. And then this is what it says here. The devas worship. Upasate means they meditate upon. And then Bhashyakara converts it into the upasate means what? Dhyayanti. Dhyayanti. Upasate should be taken as dhyayanti. They meditate upon, they contemplate upon, they worship dhyayanti. So then the dhyayanti means what? So then kada dhyayanti. When do they worship? And all these devas, when do they worship? This has to be very carefully understood. Uh, when do Sadhya Dhyayanti, do they worship now? Do they Dhyayanti now? Or did they Dhyayanti earlier? This is the thing. Because you see, if you are a Deva, then the question arises, how did this person become a Deva? The person become a Deva by Saguna Brahma Upasana alone. 365, 24/7, 365, they were just meditating upon Ishvara in whatever form. And so, yad bhavitam tad bhavati, that which they meditate upon, one becomes. There is a maxim like that. So then after the fall of the body, they had so accrued so much punya, and they were always thinking, always meditating upon Bhagavan. And so they took the form of whatever Bhagavan they were meditating, and then they got a place, they got a much coveted Deva ticket, and into Devaloka, Indraloka, Brahmaloka, wherever they are, in the form of some Devas. And how many devas are there? We'll see in this very text. It will, in the Ananda Mimamsa section, we'll see all the various kinds of celestials, from the lower rung celestials to the most choicest celestials. All of them we'll see, along with their portfolios, what they do, who they are, where they stay. All this will be very clear. But for now, we just understand that these devas became devas. Tikakara points this out. Tikakara points this out, that they worshipped earlier. They did not worship now. So purve. So they sarve devaha upasate when indradayah, then not now. Purva avasthayam. Tikakara points out, before they became devas, when they were miserable jivas, they were tired of being miserable jivas, and then so they did a lot of upasana, they did a lot of worship, and then that's how they became the devas. What kind of upasana were they doing? Vijnanamaya, Vijnanamaya Atma Brahma iti upasana. This Atma, which is a vikara of Vijnanam, therefore Vijnanamaya, along with the Kartritva Buddhi, do worship, etc. That is nothing but Brahman, iti, and that Brahman I am. Iti Upasana. Because that is the thing. So Indradaya Jeshtham. Jeshtham means what? Bhashya says, Prathamajatvat, being first born. Meaning what? Karyam Brahma. So this is, even though Hiranyagarbha is Sarvasya Karanam, it is represented here as though Karya, as though effect of what? Of that Brahman, which is free of any cause or effect. So then the firstborn, and even so Vijayate, even that is born. Later on we'll say Brahma Pucham Pratishtha, but here the Hiranyagarbha is the Pucha, the tail of the bird. And so this is what this is what the Devas have worshipped, and that's how they have become Devas. So you see, Bhagavan is giving a hint as to what this upasana is, what constitutes this upasana. What constitutes this upasana? What is what are the ingredients of this upasana? Looking upon oneself, one's knowledge, and one's kartritva buddhi, one's doership as what? Looking upon that as nothing but all knowledge Brahman. That is the upasana. Tad Brahma Aham Asmi. That Brahman in the form of Vijnanamaya, in the form of Vijnanam and Vijnanamaya, that Vijnanamaya Atma is Brahman, and that Brahman I am. This is not knowledge. Dhyayanti, not jananti. No, na jananti. They don't know that yet. Dhyayanti. They look upon it. This is just it. This is exactly like, this is exactly like saying, Saligrame Vishnum Dhyayet. Please meditate upon this stone. What is certain stones come, and these stones have certain insignia of Mahavishnu. They are found in the Himalayas, in Nepal, etc. And that is because earlier, many thousands of years ago, the Himalayas were formed by portions of land. The tectonic plates shifted, and the land mass broke off from Africa, and then collided against what are now the Himalayas, and so that collision gave rise to mountain peaks. And so before that, it was all a beach. And of course, beach will have shells and everything. And so those shells got petrified. And so now you have stones with the insignia of the shell. Shankha, Chakra, some of them have the insignia of the conch, and some of them have insignia of the, what is it called, the chakra, the wheel. And these are seen as sacred to Mahavishnu. So this conch-shaped stone, this petrified stone, is not Mahavishnu. No. But please superimpose Mahavishnu, who is Sarva Vyapaka, who is all pervasive and is everywhere. Please superimpose him upon this stone and worship devoutedly. This is exactly the injunction there. Saligrame Vishnum Dhyaye. And so Vijnanamaya Atmani Brahma Dhyanam, exactly the same. In the Vijnanamaya Atma, I worship or I meditate upon Brahman as non-separate from myself. This is exactly what is being told. And then, so that is the first meaning. And then it is Prathamaja, because that is the first whisperings of Ishvara. Ishvara in a formative, formative manner. This is what is called Prathamaja. Or he gives another meaning. We can athava sarva pravritti nam tat purvakatvat. So another meaning is there. Sarva pravritti nam means what? Sarva prani cheshtana. So the Hiranyagarbha is the infrastructure that ties together all actions. Pravritti here is action. Pravritti must be directly translated as action, because after all, Vijnanamaya is Kartritva Buddhi. Kartritva means doership. So therefore, So sarva pravrittinam, all the pravrittis that are there, pravritti means actions. So that which ties all the actions together, what is that which makes the action happen? This is Vijnanam Brahma. This is Bhagavan. Without the presence of this Hiranyagarbha as the Sutratma, as the strand that connects everything that acts, there would be no action possible. There would be no pursuits and there would be nothing to go. There would be no sadhana. There would be no sadhya. Sadhana means. Sadhya means end. So there are no means, no ends, and no connection between sadhana and sadhya. You see how subtle it is. So this Hiranyagarbha is so subtle. It connects the means and the ends, and then it connects the pursuer of the means and the ends, and then then all this is possible, and this whole setup is there, and then this infrastructure is Hiranyagarbha. So Sarva Prani Cheshtanam Sutra Rupa Brahma Karanatvatva Brahma Jyeshtamiti. That's the second meaning. So why is Brahma Jyeshta, this Hiranyagarbha Jyeshtha? Because it's the first thing that was as though born. After the unborn Satchidananda, after the unborn Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that which as though underwent a change to assume a causality, that is what is called firstborn, first meaning. Okay, and what is the second meaning? That which ties together the ability of all beings to act, and the action is backed by vijnana. Let us not forget, I should know what I want, that is knowledge. Then I should know how to get it, that is the sadhya. What is it that I want? Sadhya. How to get it? Sadhana. The connection between the means and ends also should be known to me. If I do this, it is too much. If I do that, it is too less. And this is exactly how much effort I should put. All this, that knowledge which is in the head, in the form of this Vijnanamaya, is Brahman alone. That is the second meaning. Are both the meanings clear here? Why Brahma is Prathamaja, why it is called the firstborn? This is why. Okay, that eldest. That's why Brahman is the eldest. And then before you do something, the knowledge is already there in the form of Brahman. And so that is Jyeshtham means, doesn't mean eldest, Mukhyam, the most important. Pradhanam, the Pradhana Karanam, that is what that the most important one. So Sarva Karanatvat. So now Tam Tad Brahma Jyeshtham Brahma Upasate. So all the devas have worshipped before what? This Brahman in the form of Vijnanam. And then what did they become? They themselves became devas. They worshipped the devas and became devas. So this gives a hint as to the subject matter of the upasana, which is Brahman as Vijnanamaya and the truth of the Vijnanamaya. And then what else? And then the effect of the phala, upasanayaha phalam. The fruit of the upasana is what? One becomes a deva. Ah, so anybody who wants to become a deva, secretly or otherwise, now you know what to do. What should you do? Drop out of all classes, okay? Yeah, because you don't have time. Drop out of all classes and sit and do Vijnanamaya. Vijnanam Brahma iti upasana. Vijnanamaya Atma Aham Brahma Asmi iti upasana. Sit and do when? Of the 24/7, 365. So no cooking, no cleaning, no eating. Or, you eat some roots and fruits and whatever comes, and then better repair to some place where you can be fed or something where food just appears. Maybe a quadrangle of the temple or something there, because temple every day some people are fed, and so you can just stand in line there or sit down there, and then all the time upas. This then what? Next life, tada! Indra. Woohoo! Wonderful. Oh, this is what? Look at my bungalow. Look at this. Look at that. So that is an option. Not really, but because people may take it seriously. This is just a This is just a joke, okay? Yeah, so it is not really an option because it is just simply not feasible. Oh, but you yourself said 24/7, 365. Yeah, but people cheat all the time. And then how long can you keep on visualizing yourself as Vijnana Maya Atma, which is Brahman? Then you'll just out of sheer boredom, because this is not Jnanam, this is just Dhyanam. There is a lot of difference between Jnanam and Dhyanam. Dhyanam means just a visualization. How long can you visualize? You will get bored, sleep will come. Next time you want to say Aham Brahma iti, this kind of thing you want to say, you hear yourself snoring, not repeating I am Brahman, I am Vijnanamaya Brahman. So all this truti is there. Bhashyakara is going to talk about this. All this truti means this slippage is there. And so you might have thought, I have meditated 24/7, 365. Give me, I am entitled to be a Deva. And I want to be given a form with all the names of Devas and their various rankings so that I can choose. I can tick mark my first three choices. Don't make me Karma Deva. Who is the Karma Deva? Chai Wala to various other Devas. Chai Wala brings chai, coffee, tea, like this you go and you keep on appeasing the other devas. Oh, Indra ji, would you like a little cushion, plumped up cushion behind your back? Oh, I see that you are a little bit sweating. Let me fan you. Let me do this. That person is also a celestial, infinitely more happy than the miserable jiva on earth, but still, karma deva, chai wala. So, it's actually chai wala deva. What is the use of becoming? At least on earth, if you are a chai wala, you can hope to become a prime minister. All right. But then, but then if you're a chai wala in heaven, no use. No use at all. No, absolutely no use. And so therefore, this is this kind of a thing is extremely fraught. You don't get a choice. Lord Yama also wanted to become a celestial. But what a joke. The final laugh. Ishvara had the final laugh. Here you want to live forever? All right. Why don't you become the in charge, the CEO of the clearing house of departed souls? You have to put them on various assembly lines. This one on the rebirth assembly line, and the rebirth assembly line is all with, animal birth, human birth, deva birth, and then insect birth, all these things. Shwetaja, Udbija, all these things. Udbija means plant birth. Udbija. Which means Udbidya Jayate, that which breaks through the earth and is born. So the manner of birth is also important in terms of reaping the karma. So here is Lord Yama. I wanted to be a Deva, but infinitely working with all the departed jivas. What an irony. And so, like this, so even if you meditate the 24/7, 365, there will be lot of slippage, and Devatvam means Devaness will not come. It will not come. And all that this meditation will do, Bhashyakara will point out, or maybe it is the Tikakara, I forget. One of them will point out is that it is only going to equip you with being ready for this knowledge. And it will make your life a little easier. Why? Because the raga dveshas, the strong preferences and prejudices are becoming less and less because of this upasana. We'll see how. And then, even though if you are not happier, other people around you, you make happier because your raga dveshas are less and less. They don't have to deal with you. Nice. So even if you don't want to meditate, please meditate upon Vijnanamaya Atma as Brahman once in a while, so that you can make other people happy by them not having to deal with you all the time. You become an entity that doesn't have to be dealt with. This is what Pujya Swamiji always used to say. That is moksha. Less and less people have to deal with you. How nice. Otherwise, what happens? You're full of demands and needs. Why is this thing? Everything becomes a huge deal. Why I have to come? Why I have to do this? Why I have to do that? Everything becomes all about me, as though nobody else is there on the earth. The person becomes huge, has a colossal sense of entitlement, and that is the cause of sorrow. In the beginning, that entitlement may feel like a nice defense against the universe. I'm due this, and I'm due. I have to have this, and I'm going to fight with you to get my rights. And then all final fighting words. You're fighting with shadows. You cannot change anybody, only yourself. And better to start now. Better to reduce this sense of entitlement, and the sense of entitlement is backed by the raga and dveshas. The raga and dveshas, the strong preferences and the prejudices, if they were to have a baby, it would be a sense of entitlement. Sometimes people talk about misplaced sense of entitlement. In fact, all sense of entitlement is displaced, is misplaced. And so many times I've had the wonderful opportunity to observe uh, how Pujya Swamiji dealt with people and taught them also about this. One young Swami came, and he had gone somewhere to give some talks. And he came back. And then Swamiji asked very excitedly, "Oh, how were the talks? People came? Did people attend? And were your talks received nicely? How were the talks?" And then the Swami said, "Talks were fine, Swamiji. It's just that people don't have Shraddha." This was a judgment. And Pujya Swamiji saw that. "How do you say they don't have Shraddha? They came to the talks, didn't they?" "Yes, they came." "Then what's the matter?" They did not touch my feet." And Pujya Swamiji was very silent, did not say anything. And then after that, he turned to me. I happened to be sitting there because he can't talk directly because that person is already a Swami. And then he was very careful not to berate him in public because there was already a lot of people. And then he said, looked at me and he said, "Why should people touch anybody's feet? Why should they touch the feet? And if they want you to touch the feet, if you want them to touch the feet, that at least that is already a problem. It's already a problem. If you want them to touch the feet, it's a problem because you are demanding respect." These were his words exactly. And then to people in general, including the Swami, he said the moral of the story. And he spoke a little louder, this one, because this was for everybody. And then he said, "Respect is always commanded, not demanded." It made a very big impression on me. And then I understood so much. And then this is all Vijnanamaya. I deserve respect because I am a great karta. I'm a great karta. I'm a great doer. In fact, it's the doership that needs to be dropped. But here one is saying, I deserve respect because I'm the best karta in the whole world. What a dubious distinction in to call yourself the greatest karta in the whole world. Here one is saying, drop the doership. Don't get. It's not don't do. It's don't get identified with a sense of doership. And here one is giving oneself the dubious epithet of being the greatest doer in the whole world. That is the entitlement. And that is what Vijnanamaya is. That's a distorted understanding of oneself as karta. And then this is what needs to be removed. And how is it removed? Through this very upasana, which we are told the devas have done. And why should this trivia be there? Why should we be told that the devas have done this upasana? Because that Vijnanamaya is very egotistic. If you just say some roadside riffraff has done this upasana, this ahankara is not interested. The ahankara perks up. Even the devas have done this. Ooh, I'd like to do this because the devas have done this. It's just like how when in India, when you say this is very popular in America, then everybody buys that. Even yoga had to make a pilgrimage to the West and then come back to India and then become famous. Before that, who did yoga? No, not a single yoga studio was there. For example, when I was growing up, not a single place. If you wanted to learn, you have to go to traditional teachers. You have to go to traditional teachers or their disciples and then go and learn. You have to go away for 3 months, 6 months, like that. Minimum 1 month to learn at least the basics. And then that was it, 3 months minimum, 1 to 3 months. That's how you learned. You did not just go and then, just buy matching leggings and top and then matching, what is that called? What is that thing called? That sticky thing, yoga mat, matching yoga mat. And then these foam bricks, props, foam bricks, and then that rope, all these things, pillows and things to sit on, and all these cushions which tilt the back. In this case, all this was not there at all. In fact, the whole yoga industry was born in the West, and then it migrated to India, reverse migration. Yoga thankfully did not become NRI, non-returning Indian. Okay, yeah, it came back. It came back to India, became very famous after it was approved in the West. After it, now you have a lot of yoga merch in India also. Merch is short for merchandise. Okay, yeah. So you have a lot of yoga merch in India as well. All matching things, yoga mat, this, that, everything you can buy. And then you can, one cushion on the left knee, another cushion underneath the right knee, and then one cushion to tilt the back, and then one cushion to for child's pose, because there are any forward bends, the head will not go down, and because there is no abhyasa, there is no habit of that, and then so you need a resting cushion for the head, or and another cushion to weep into, because none of the poses are coming easily. Okay, that's the final cushion. That that is what yoga is now. And so we see, because see, when I studied yoga, nothing was there. No yoga mat. We did it on the floor. And if you were slipping, that was an encouragement to strengthen the various body parts so that you would just hold because of gravity. If you are slipping, you better get strong fast. And then that's how it was. That's how it is understood. That's how it was studied. Now it is just, you just go. There are yoga studios everywhere. And on my walk, I meet at least 3 yoga studios on my morning walk. You can see how close by they are. And so, therefore, so just like that, when yoga went to America and came back, yoga became famous. So then, when Vijnanamaya Atma is Brahman, was this upasana was practiced by the devas, it became fit for this ahankari. Oh, devas are practicing it. Yippee! Yippee, yippee, yippee! I'm next. Sign me up for this upasana. See, the Upanishad is so fantastic. The Upanishad knows how to cater to the ego. Vijnanamaya is all about the ahankara, and so the Upanishad knows exactly how to cater to the ego. And then Purvavasthayam means at some point in time, Purva Janmani, in a different Janma. How Yajamana Avasthayam, when the person was the worshipper, then that is when Dhyayanti, that is when they had done they done this upasana, then Devatvam Praptaha, then they all gained Devatva. This is the phala, this is the result of Saguna Brahma Upasana. So they had already done this Upasana and reached the position of Devas. And then, so it is very, very clear And then they are now in Bhoga Sharira. Bhoga Sharira means a body that is just meant for Bhoga. And two kinds of bodies are there that are just meant for Bhoga. Body number one is Tiryak. Tiryak means animals, etc., things that grow sideways. So if you look at a puppy, it is small in the beginning, it's a small little cute ball. Then you go visit it after 3-4 weeks, then it will have grown like this. Then it will grow like this also, but it will mostly grow like this and little bit grow like this. So tiriyak means that which grows sideways, like creepers and animals. So animal is bhoga sharira. That's Bhoga Sharira means the body has been taken, that particular life has been taken only to expend the karma from previous lives. So many lives will be there. And then so in any birth, if you have been a human being, you have endless karmas. And so one of the lives may be just a bhoga sharira. You become one is born as an animal. You just eke out the karma and exhaust the karma. That's why in a bhoga sharira, gaining knowledge is not possible. Why? Because the bhoga sharira, there is only bhoga possible. And Vedanta jnana is not possible. Vedanta jnana, largely speaking, is not possible. Of course, there are exceptions like Gajendra, etc., Gajendra Mukti, etc. is there. So, if for Bhoga Sharira, for a body that is just meant to exhaust karma, then there is no possibility of self-knowledge. Why? Self-knowledge requires a certain buddhi. That buddhi is not there. That ability to desire the knowledge is not there. And even if the desire is there, the appropriate body to pursue the knowledge is not there. So this is the first kind of bhoga sharira: animals, insects, reptiles, all of them, plants, etc. Then a second kind of bhoga sharira is the exalted devas. Deva life is also bhoga shariram eva. Only bhoga, because they are just here in the first instance as animals. One is exhausting the bad karmas, papas, little bit of punya, mostly papa. Whereas in the deva sharira, in the body of the devas, they are exhausting punya karma. Wonderful experiences. They never have a bad day. Every day. That's why in the Devaloka, they don't have to greet each other. May you have a nice day. Because they know every day is going to be nice. Every day is going to be very, very pleasant, very, very nice, very, very full of all the things they want. So this is another kind of Bhoga Sharira. But what about human Sharira? It's a Mishra Sharira. It is got some bhoga, but then it has the buddhi in order to convert that bhoga into yoga. It has the buddhi, and that buddhi is because of punya. Because of punya, in the human janma alone, you can gain this knowledge. Even if you become a deva, you don't gain this knowledge. And we say this even though in the Upanishad, Indra was a student, etc. We see this. Agni was a student, Vayu was a student. But still, those are exceptions, not the rule. Bhoga Sharira and is not able to gain this knowledge. And so therefore, they all, Purva Janmani, in a previous life, Yajamana Avasthayam, Tikakara says, in the position of being a worshipper, a jiva, dhyanam kritavantaha, they had done this upasana. How did they do this upasana? This is explained. Tasmin vijnanamaye brahmani abhimanam kritva upasate. Tasmin means in that Brahman, in the form of vijnanam, abhimanam kritva, identifying with. Abhimanam kritva means identifying with this Brahman upasate dhyayanti. They identify with Brahman as as the truth of the Vijnanamaya Atma. The truth of the Karta is Brahman iti they identify, and then therefore what? So therefore, then they have this, they have this particular form of upasana where the I is included. There are many kinds of upasana. The upasana is always a visualization or a contemplation. And there are many kinds of contemplations and visualizations. Why are there many kinds? Because it takes all kinds of jivas to connect to anything so that one has a choice. There are many kinds of contemplation. Roughly, they are divided into two kinds of upasanas. General, a rough kind of a cut. So the first kind is called Sampatti Upasana. Sampatti Upasana is like the one that I have already illustrated. And what is that Upasana? Saligrame Vishnum Dhyayet. Atasmin Tad Buddhi. In the not that, in the non Vishnu, which is a stone having the insignia of the chakra, for instance, have that Buddhi, meaning Vishnu Buddhi. In the non Vishnu object, have Vishnu Buddhi. Kritva Dhyayet. So then this is called Sampatti Upasana. Sampatti Upasana means Atasmin Tad Buddhi. So Atasmin Tad Buddhi is Adhyasa. So Upasana is pure projection. You project Vishnu onto a stone and you tell yourself, in place of this stone, I will worship Vishnu. Vishnu is projected onto the stone. This is the called Sampatti Upasana. And what are the ingredients of this Sampatti Upasana? In the not that, that Buddhi. In the not that, that Buddhi. That is how the projection is. Atasmin, in the not that, Tad Buddhi, that Buddhi. That means Vishnu Buddhi in the non-Vishnu object. The object is not Vishnu. But then I look upon it as Vishnu because there are certain similarities. I take that similarities and project Vishnu on that object. So, Nikrishta Vastuni Utkrishta Vastu Prasthapya Dhyaye. So, in Nikrishta Vastuni means in a lowly object. You put an exalted Bhagavan in a lowly object, you see the exalted Bhagavan, the not lowly Bhagavan. So this is called Sampatti Upasana. And in Sampatti Upasana, what stands out is that there is duality. The Bhakta is separate from the object of Bhakti. And so I am worshipping who? Vishnu. Who is this Vishnu? Separate from me. Vishnu is Jagat Karta. Vishnu is Bhagavan. And this Bhagavan I am invoking in a stone. And then I am considering the stone Vishnu. So you see where the the I is here. And the I is the Karta. And the I is doing the karma, the action of meditation. The I is the agent of this visualization of the Vishnu in the non-Vishnu object. This is called Sampatti Upasana. It is considered to be a little more lowly than the Upasana, the second kind, which is called Ahangraha Upasana. I'm going to write this down. Sampatti Upasana. Yes, you can look in the chat box. Sampatti Upasana, which is what we have just discussed, and Ahangraha Upasana. Ahangraha means graha to grasp. Aham means I, where I include myself in the meditation. Ahangraha Upasana. And what is that entail? That is exactly like this meditation slash contemplation slash dhyanam that is being described here. This is called ahangraha upasana. Tasmin vijnanamaye brahmani, in that brahman which is nothing, in that vijnanamaya which is nothing but brahman, abhimanam kritva, identifying with that as myself, I do this meditation. So in this Vijnanamaya Brahma, in this Brahman, there is something that is all knowledge, and then which is the all sarvasya karta, sarva kartrikam is there, kartritvam is there. Then it is the sarva srishti karta, and that karta of the jagat, of the whole srishti, is backed by knowledge, and so therefore this Vijnanamaya Atma, which is myself, is non-separate from that Vijnanamaya Brahman, Sagunam Brahma, that Ishvara, in the form of Hiranyagarbha. That Brahman alone I am. Aham asmi iti Saguna Brahma, aham asmi iti ahamgraha upasana. This Brahman endowed with attributes. What are the attributes? Of being the knower of everything, of the whole Jagat, and being the creator of the Jagat. I connect to this Brahman as myself. This Brahman is not outside of me. I am included in this Brahman, like even the tree is included in the forest. So here, this Ahangraha Upasana is superior because you see the difference in the first one and the second one. In the Sampatti Upasana, I simply take a stone or any object or a photograph or a statue of Bhagavan, and then and on that statue I say I invoke Bhagavan in lieu of that statue, or on that using that statue as a medium. Here there is no medium. Directly I see myself as included in this Sutratma, in this Brahman, which is all knowledge and is the Karta, has become the Karta, as it were, is seen as the agent of this whole Jagat. I invoke Brahman as the knower and the maker of the whole Jagat. And then who am I? I am also the knower and the maker in a very inhibited, small way. I am the knower of wrong things and I am the maker of many mistakes. And so, at least, but I am also the maker, I am also the knower. So, I am connected to Brahman from the Vyashti and Samashti. So, the individual, he is relinquishing the hold of this individuality and connecting to the total, resolving the individual karta into the total karta. That is what is this Vijnanamaya Upasana. Very beautiful it is, and very nuanced, very, very lovely. So then here it is not Jnanam, because Jnanam is Tasmin Tad Buddhi. That is called Jnanam. Not Atasmin Tad Buddhi, but Tasmin Tad Buddhi is Jnanam. Seeing the things as it is means that is Jnana, knowledge. If I say Brahman, I am, that is knowledge. But here this is not knowledge. This is a visualization. That Brahman in the form of the Karta I am, I submit my and surrender my little Kartritvam into that big Kartritvam and big knowledge which is Brahman. This is beautiful, because otherwise how will all the Radhas and Dveshas go? Because otherwise I'll become a separate Karta and get derailed from Ishvara, get alienated. In fact, that is the capital. Everybody comes to this alienated, lonely, and not connected, unconnected. This is a wonderful way of a wonderful connection here. And so the particularity is there for this jiva. But the universality is not beyond the ken of this jiva. In the jiva's awareness, the universality of Brahman being Jagat Karta and Jagat Jnata. The one who knows the Jagat, the one who has made the Jagat, who creates the Jagat, etc. That also is not lost to this Vijnanamaya, Atma, the worshipper, the visualizer, the meditator. Meditator is very much there. And then that meditator is Vyashti, individual, and is subsumed or surrenders to the Samashti, surrenders the Ahankara to the Samashti. And this is there everywhere. And you see this, like for example, this Vyashti Samashti Bheda is there, and that Bheda is kind of obfuscated. Bheda means difference. That difference is obfuscated deliberately through this visualization. Veda is there. Like you see, if you have like Samashti eyes from the standpoint of the collective, there is a maxim, all eyes see. The furtive eyes of non-vegetarian animals, looking out for predator on one side and prey on the other, and the trusting eyes of a puppy dog, and all this, and the intelligent eyes of a fox, all this is there. The curious eyes of certain birds, which are looking out for something, looking at something. All this is there. These are eyes in general. And then we have such certain particularity also in the eyes. All eyes see. This is Samashti. And Vyashti means the eyes of the cow, the eyes of the donkey, the eyes of the human being, the eyes of the fox. And also the fact that some eyes don't see. Some people are born blind because of certain other orders, certain other niyati, like what is that called? Certain other niyati, like what is that? Laws, certain other laws, because of laws of karma, etc. Some people don't see that. That is not called a disorder. It is a vast order where even disorder is included in the order, because the order disorder are not opposed to one another. So that is the Vyashti Samashti. And then everything you have this Vyashti Samashti. And so therefore the universality is there and the particularity is there. Both of them are there all the time. And both of them are palpable. You can immerse yourself in the universal. And then when you do that in the form of prayer, meditation, the particular resolves. That's why bhajans are so wonderful. When you sing a bhajan, what happens? You forget yourself. You forget yourself because you have become part of the melody. You find yourself again and again in the tune of the bhajan. And your silly problems, and because all problems are silly anyway, and your silly problems are all gone because of this immersion into the samashti. Same thing with food. You just scarf it down, and then everything is fine until that gets digested. Everything is just fine. So then, so therefore, the Vijnanamaya Atma is looked upon as Samashti Vijnanamaya. What is this Samashti Vijnanamaya? This Samashti Vijnanamaya is Ishvara as the Jnata and the Karta of the Jagat. That is what is Samashti, total Vijnanamaya. This I is not separate from total Vijnanamaya. Aham Samashti Vijnanamaya. This is what is the Sagunam Brahma Ishvara Upasana, as Ishvara, of course, as Hiranyagarbha. Aham Sutratma. This is called Ahangraha Upasana. In all the other upasanas, the Aham is left out. And the aham is there standing and observing or doing some ritual as a bhakta, as a separate from the upasana. And so therefore you can superimpose something upon something and then deliberately through a sankalpa, an intentionality. And then so the one who intends is separate from the meditation. But here Vijnanamaye Brahmani, very eloquently it is put. Tasmin Vijnanamaye Brahmani Abhimanam Kritva Aham iti Abhimanam Kritva Soham iti Dhyayate. Upasate, the person dhyayate. So dhyayati. And then what else? So tasmat te mahato brahmanah upasanat jnanaishwaryamantaha bhavanti. So those jivas who do this upasanayaha phalam is pointed out. The result of this upasana is pointed out. And what is the result of this upasana? The result of this upasana is that one becomes baby Bhagavan. Because why not why not a deva? Why not a real deva? Real deva to become, you have to do this 24/7, 365 flawlessly. How many people are able to do that? Very, 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 very rare. Very few. And so therefore you get little baby Bhagavan, you become. And just like children in India, for their what is that fancy dress competition, they go dressed as Krishna, like baby Krishna, with a little peacock feather and a little dhoti. They look all very cute with a flute in hand, all these things. So that's how you become baby Bhagavan. You can play at being a baby Bhagavan. How? Jnanavan bhavanti. Jnanavan bhavati. Aishwaryavan bhavati. Jnanaishwaryavantaha bhavanti. So Jnaneshwari, Jnanam means more knowledge. More knowledge of what? More knowledge that you get perhaps some intuitive guidance Ishvara gives, because the raga dveshas are not cluttering the mind. So the intuition is there. Intuition is nothing but Bhagavan within. So one's own conscience, one is able to hear. One's own guidance, one is able, Bhagavan sitting there guides in a certain way. That is one's own buddhi. One is able to discern. The buddhi is not gone to graze along with the sense organs in the garden of sense objects. The buddhi is very much here. And so because of this upasana, they draw from the source more jnanam, special knowledge, more aishwaryam. More Aishwaryam means more overlordship. They have a certain charisma. People listen to them because obviously they are doing so much meditation. They have a certain ojas, a kind of energy, a certain tejas, a brilliance, a radiance. And all this is the kalam of this upasana. Sounds very good, right? Yeah. So you can try this baby meditation for next week for homework. There is a question, very long question. Let's see. In studying Vedanta and the doctrines of karma reincarnation, it is easy to conclude that Brahman is a machine. Grace too is considered as something one has already earned rather than as freely granted, the benevolent response of Brahman. How does one avoid such a conclusion? That's because of the word jnana. Because it is very clear, Brahman is not a thing. It is not jada. Machine means that it is mechanical. It's jada. Jada means inert. It is not inert. This is become very, very clear. Why? The definition of Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Ananta. When that Jna dhatu is used, Jnanam, it is in the form of sentience. It is because of whom the knower becomes the knower. It is because of which that which is a known shines as an object of knowledge. It is because of which the means of knowledge also is upheld. And what is this Brahman? Brahman is all knowledge, which is neither knower nor known, nor the means of knowledge. So that's why it is sentient. That's how one avoids it, because one never forgets that Brahman is consciousness, and that consciousness rests in a conscious being. Knowledge has to rest in a conscious being. Jada is not the source of knowledge. So then, in addition, despite the infinite timeless nature of Brahman, the astounding and exquisite variety in creation, and the path expounded for moksha, the question still arises, What's the point of all this? How to put that question to rest once and for all? So, the thing is, they say, what is that? When you are in the process of knowing, that is that is both an exciting stage and a dangerous stage. Half knowledge is dangerous because here we think we know and we are still in the process of knowing. So here it is that's why Bhagavan is important to bring into one's life. That is why we are bringing in Bhagavan at the level of the body, Annamaya Kosha, at the level of the mind, Manomaya, at the level of the breathing and all other physiological functions, Pranamaya, at the level of Ahankara as the Karta, Vijnanamaya, at the level of Ahankara as the Bhokta, Anandam. We are bringing in Bhagavan everywhere. When you Ishvarize a place of error, where the Karta I can think of myself as Karta and then think of myself as only and identify only as the Karta and invite sorrow into my life. Instead, I subsume this Ahankara into Bhagavan. It's a very important step. Otherwise, one will always feel what is the point. Inviting Ishvara into one's life, if one cannot do, then Vedanta is in the danger of being lost completely. It is not assimilated fully. Like I said at the beginning, it's not, you have to go step by step. We can't suddenly bypass all of this and say, I want pure Brahman. There is no such thing as pure Brahman. Because we are born in connecting to Ishvara in the form of this manifest universe. So you see Ishvara in everything all the time. That is the way to then you will never say what is the point, because wherever you look, there is Ishvara saying hello back. There is Ishvara saying don't fear, I am here. There is Ishvara comforting you. There is Ishvara surrounding you. In fact, your own body is Ishvara, your mind is Ishvara. Then you'll never say what is the point, because this Ishvara you want to see, this Ishvara you want to be. And that is why we go step by step. That this is so Sagunam Brahma Upasana, very important to invite Ishvara into one's life and have this Ishvara awareness, without which the knowledge of Vedanta is incomplete. More we'll see next week. Very good question. I hope it was clear to everybody. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.